What's up, gamers? It's stream time. I'm just looking over a couple of notes here, and then we'll get going. Alrighty. I'm just kind of looking over what we talked about in the Discord earlier today. Cyberpunk. Hey, Evo. Hello! Sorry, I meant to hit my camera button a bit earlier than that. I kind of got wrapped in the sauce, though. Alright, let me get my posts out and about really quick here. That's all well and good. That's all well and good. Hello! How are you? Ugh. Honestly, this stream is gonna be a pretty chillax one. I don't have a lot to go over. I know we had like the research and development and the idea stream kind of propped up. You know, I still want to do a little bit of that at least today, but I don't know, dude. Like, to be fair, I did have a bit of a productive day today, and I just kind of want to, you know, I got a bunch of appointments figured out, one of which is really cool. On Monday, let me double check here really quick. Yes, I have a appointment with someone to discuss changing my birth certificate up, which is very, very good and cool. I'm just hoping that all goes as smooth as it possibly can, you know? I've got to attack my right knee, but that's offset with my self-made 3D printer. Ooh, let me look that up. Oh, that looks kind of neat. Oh, that looks like a very... Like, that looks like a 3D printer, you know what I mean? Like, when I think of the term 3D printer, that's the machine I think of. That's pretty cool. Good on ya. What are you gonna print with it? What are you gonna print with it? An FDM printer, the ridges would be terrible in there. Fair, but I mean, a little bit of sand and polish can't fix that, right? Alright. I got my water. I got the stream set up. I mean, there are other things you could print that are pretty. that are not insertable, we'll say. There's a range of options. I'm not going to look at my mail while on stream. That's a bad idea. Probably cosplay props might kick me back into do cosplay again. Hell yeah, gamer. That sounds awesome. Do you have any cosplays that you want to do in the near future? Hell yeah. Chat was crazy today. On God. That'd be a really cool cosplay. Keep us updated on that. Let's get a stream stuff. Google Docs. Create and share. Sure. Yeah, honestly though, I was really appreciative of how engaged everyone was in that conversation. Like, if I'm gonna stick around and I'm gonna make this stream what I want it to be, then I have to put in a little bit of work, you know? And unfortunately, I don't have all the time in the world, so I have to do it within the realm of what I'm able to, which is unbelievably frustrating, but, you know, I'll do what I can. And as long as I'm producing stuff that I think is good, then I will be satisfied. Was the trading just all fake Pokemon cards? There's no genuine cards out? No, there were some genuine cards in there. It's just that, like, they were really old, like, jungle base set stuff that had, like, first edition tags on them, and we're not really interested in that kind of stuff at my job right now. Also, the conditions weren't super great, but the two fake cards that she had that were very notable was a special delivery Pikachu, which you only get by doing a special promotion on the Pokemon Center website. And also Pikachu with the gray felt hat, the one that they did for Van Gogh. But the card stock was all wrong, and the foiling was incorrect, and the print quality was just not there, so nope, not interested. It's always a bummer when I have to inform people that they have fake cards, but, you know, it's part of the job. a lot of times we'll get kids that come in that have fake cards just because like they bought them off Amazon or something. I hate that shit. Nothing really you could do about that though, other than like let people know like, hey, this is a fake card. Be mindful when shopping online for other fake cards, you know? God damn, I gotta scroll so far up to get to where we started this conversation. Break these down into IRL streams and gaming streams. I'm just working on a Google document in the background for all this. This one, 18. This one should also be 18. Shoop. Gulp. Yeah, we're researching warp travel here on my gaming stream. Step 1. Oh. How was your guys' day? Tell me about it. I'd love to hear it. So one of the ideas Tyler put down was play Halo, but every time you die, turn the volume lower until you're playing without audio. And I think the opposite of that's gonna be really funny too, like raising the gain every time I fucking die in Halo so that like it just fucking blows my eardrums out. That'd be really funny. Let's see. Mm-hmm. I guess I can go back to streaming Apex too. Oh yeah, tree planting stream. I'm not remaking or ranking the Costco guys songs. I don't know who they are, and I'd like to keep it that way. Oh, making a Christmas list. Makeup tutorial. Step one would be find antimatter. that's a big first step, my guy. Step two would be inject matter and antimatter into central reaction element, creating large amounts of energy when those two materials mutually annihilated each other. But like, how do you store antimatter if antimatter, when coming into contact with matter, annihilates? How do you store antimatter? Because the only way to store antimatter would be with more antimatter, and you can't have antimatter come anywhere in contact with matter no matter what. Otherwise it'll annihilate. Portable magnetic vacuum field chamber. I mean, I suppose. But how the fuck do you get it in there? That's what we in the business call good enough. Eh, no, it's not. Hold on. Wait, what the fuck? Is that? Oh, weird. Hold on. Can I just like... Oh, that is my green screen. Okay, hold on. On this side. There we go. There we go, there we go. Easy clap. Alright. Haven't done a do in a while to start off with. I haven't played the Wordle for fucking weeks at this point. I am gonna be rusty as shit. Let's see. So it could be like something AU? Something something? Like... Hot as in howdy? That doesn't seem like a worthwhile guess. How do you spell luau? Would they ever do luau as a Wordle word? That doesn't seem like something they would do. Oh, it can't be this because there's no E in it. It's a good guess, though. I could just guess it to get the words or the letters placed out. This doesn't seem like a bad second guess, though, right? Hi, Teeth. I like saying coyote better. Hey, coyote. I'm going to stop using real-world names. One of the things that I want to batten down the hatches with in 2025 is anti-docs. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Yeah. I workshopped it in real time and it didn't pan out. Thank you, Evo. God damn it. I'll believe that when I see it. Yep, and that's the point. I need to be better at that. If I'm gonna continue being an online figure, I need to, like, fucking take my fucking security seriously. You're so good at doxing yourself? Yeah, and that's why I have to fucking stop it. It's gonna get me fucking seriously in trouble if I keep doing that. So I need... Are you still on your stream? No, I'm not. I mean, with all the talk we were doing today, that should have been pretty evident. Like... The only, like, one of the main contributing factors to me not stopping the stream is that, like, I want to keep producing art and content, yeah, or whatever. I'm explaining that right now because, like, you know, part of what's coming is going to be erasure of like me and people like me. So if I'm going to be defiant in that, then I want to keep creating and putting a product out there for people to see and, like, you know, not have me be erased, or at least contribute to, you know, things made by trans folk. As mundane as that product may be, at least I'm still contributing. And I want to be, like, I want to build a community of people who, like, help each other and shit like that. I don't know. There was also a conversation I had with Alex about stream in general, and she turned me around a little bit on it. It was a really nice conversation. Meacham? How do you say your last name? You mean like a like-minded coalition? I guess? Not sure where you're going with that, but... Alright, I'm gonna guess pause, just to get different letter placements, plus P and S are added into the guess. Yeah, I'm wasting a letter on E, but I think that's okay here. So, we know where the U is now. And we know where the A isn't. So it's like... Ooh. Damn, I knew there wasn't an E. Why did I do that? Well, now we know it's like... And there's L in there somewhere. A union of streamer? Meacham? I mean, people have been trying to do... Well, I don't think people have been trying to do a streamer union. I don't think it'd be a bad idea, but... I'm more so, like, it's this, like, fucking... Like, lack of a better term, it's a dramatic, like... Part of... Words are hard tonight. I'm gonna be real with you. Part of why I enjoy streaming. Bezos. No one is requiring you to work. Bezos, yeah. Well, I mean, if you sign a contract, then you kind of do, but that's not... I'm nowhere even close to that world, so I'm not even gonna attempt to comment on it. Part of what I love to do about streaming is talking to people and lifting people up and just doing good. And I don't know, like, I don't want to just sit here and like wax poetic or try to insinuate that my stream is something that it's not. But like, I want to be someone that is not ashamed of who they are and like continue to produce content therein. And like, how do you say that you want to be, you know, the thought of this next administration taking away a lot of the rights of people like me makes me so angry that I want to channel that anger into something I can control, which is the stream. Or at least as much control as I possibly can have within my own project. And then using that project as a platform to, you know, just make it easier, I guess. I don't know. Like, there's a very non-zero part of me that wants to pivot into, like, political streaming. But, like, I don't really have the, background for that. I just kind of spew words into a microphone. But I also feel like my experience as a trans individual is, like, something I can share and at least articulate to those who don't have that experience so that it's a little bit better understood across the board. Yeah, words came to me a lot easier last stream. I don't know why. I think I've like I almost said vibrated, but that's not the correct word. I think I melted my brain a bit too much by being on Twitter for a little bit longer than I meant to today. Like when I wasn't doing anything at work, I'd be either on the Discord server or on Twitter. I need to stop doing that. So we know the A is in the last position. I'm not on Twitter at all anymore. I really shouldn't be, honestly. I'd be reading. I really should be, honestly. Part of why I have been on Twitter recently is because I want to at least stay up to date and have some sort of like knowledge base to go to, as fucking awful as Twitter can't be for that, but like keeping up to date with like what's happening in like the legal space or like the political space. There's some good folks still on Twitter for that, and that's mainly who I want to follow and like stay up to date with. And there were some really good resources for like, here's what you should do now that the thing is going on. Like the administration is changing. Like here's what you should have, and trans like lifelines and shit like that. Plus a huge cybersecurity risk. I agree. Like I don't follow accounts that are like echo chambery on purpose, right? Like I look up respected individuals in the space who I feel have a very fair and level-headed viewpoint. Like Aaron in the Morning, right? Great trans advocate and like journalist. To be honest, you're better off on Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, Mayo. I'm gonna argue no, but not because I feel like Twitter is better. It's because I feel all of them are equally as bad. What is this word? I knew it wasn't equal because of the E. That was a snap guess that I shouldn't have did. Don't be on Twitter, it's full of cunts. I mean, yeah, cunts and bots. But I mean, like, every platform is now. There's tons of organizers on Instagram? Infographic? What? Yeah. It's like... The U in the middle of the word is very strange. Thanks for sharing. Sorry. Yeah, I got the push notification for that today. It does not bode well. For everything, but you know, what can you do? Stay informed, I guess, is the thing you can do. And like, I don't want to... I don't want me staying on top of the news to be a depressing thing. I mean, it's going to be, unfortunately, but like... Staying informed isn't depressing in itself. Staying informed is smart and the correct thing to do. Jason Plato, and every single day for about a month straight, I tweeted at him, he's a massive twat. Honestly, based. That's a based reason to get banned off of Twitter. It's really funny. I think flura is a word. Flua? It's like X, it's like something L, U something A. Right? It's twat, there's no O on it. What's your political take on road rage? Be an adult. Like... Yeah, you can get angry about being stuck in traffic, but like, let's be adults about this. We're all stuck in traffic. Be normal. More they would have one free car crash a year. I mean, you're kind of cooking with that. Now the question is, how far can we extend that before it becomes no longer viable for the one free? Because like, if you're stuck in traffic and the only way to get around someone who's parked like an asshole is to just kind of sideswipe them, that's free. You get one of those a year. But like causing vehicular manslaughter, again, you might be able to do one per year. But again, I think it's contextual. Little old lady walking across the street and you're not paying attention? That feels less okay. Uvula? Nah, it's gotta have, 5 letters. Bluma. I bought a gun to shoot at other cars where they drive slow. How is that going to get them to drive faster? The Glock 19 with the Extendo mag? Ooh, that's what we could do on stream one day. As long as it's not outside of Twitch Toss, we can go gun shopping someday. I've been thinking about it. That's something I'm gonna approach Alex with, though, is like, hey, I wanna learn how to use a gun. Can you please teach me? Ooh. You crash into my car, I catch you, I'm going to smash your teeth in and then make you have all foods all your food through straw. It is a vehicle, my guy. Be an adult? Be an adult. Yeah, it sucks and it's awful, but like, both parties are put out now, right? Also, you know what would make all of these problems not an issue whatsoever? If we had better fucking public transit. When you shoot at someone, they usually drive away pretty fast. Does Alex have a gun? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. A gun? Yeah. We could bring her on sometime. We could talk about it. But last time I was over there, I actually don't know if I'm allowed to say the exact number that I have been told, because I don't know how comfortable she is with that. But we went to the gun range together not too long ago, and she has an AR-15 that she built, and that thing is fucking insane. Alex doesn't have a gun. She got rid of it like 3 years ago. Nah, that's incorrect. Because like we went to the, because you don't know how many of them are legal. Because I don't want to just say shit without permission. Like, there's no nefariousness going on here. I was about to say 2 weeks ago, it wasn't on my bingo card, but here we are. Yeah, not a bad call. Yeah, no, we went to the gun range, and, you know, we were shooting, like, a .22 rifle. You know, like, little pit. It was like, oh, yeah, that's a gun. And then people brought out, like, 9mm pistols, and those were a little bit louder, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's a gun. And Alex brought out her AR-15, and that thing is fucked up. People could just own those. That's so fucked up. But anyway. It's like a house or an apartment. I can't envision having an AK-47 in a studio apartment in Latmeo. I'm not going to answer any further questions. I'm thinking of a different gun. Ah, I see. You're being weird. I don't know what the fuck this word is. Cause it's like, it's like something LU something A. Or like something something ULA. But like that doesn't make sense either. Uvula, my friend, go for it. Uvula? Yes, I know what a fucking uvula is. Thank you, Alka-Seltzer. I doubted you, and I was proven incorrect. I am sorry. Okay, say what it is. I don't have to say what it is. Why did I do that on the internet? It's the dangly bit in the back of your throat. Oh my god, there's a huge green thing behind you. You won't get me again. Uvula. Hi, Lee. Welcome. I'm not planning on doing anything on the pewter for a bit. I've been doing as well as I can be, Lee. Hope you are well as well. All right. Anyone, excuse me, anyone got any cool weekend plans coming up? Want some positive political news? God, fucking anything. Yes, please. I've just been getting fucking slapped back and forth of just negative after negative shit. InfoWars got bought by The Onion. I did see that. I'm not sure what they're gonna do with that, but they did do it. Like, I don't see what they gain from that. Unless they turn InfoWars into another satirical news outlet. But, like, they already had one. So I'm not quite sure what they're gonna do with that. Oh, so they are just gonna do, like, another parody news organization with that. I mean, I suppose, right? The branding and everything's already there, so why not? Ow. Fake Alex Jones, fake Andrew Tate, etc. Sensational groups similar to Jones, but like, I get it, it's funny, and it's those folks getting their comeuppance by The Onion, but at the same time, people who are like fans of InfoWars, oh god, that fucking clip. People who are fans of InfoWars aren't gonna know that, or they are going to know that the ownership has changed and to no longer watch it, right? So really, it's just an inside joke for people who already know what's happening and not trying to capture a new audience. Oh, nice. Good on you, Lee. You could just make an Alex flavored soda produced by Jones Soda. You know, I've never had a Jones Soda before. They look kind of neat, but all right, I'm gonna watch this clip really quick just to see how fucking bad it is. Do that on the internet. See what it is. Why did I do that on the internet? It's pretty good. A little tail squishmallow, that's so cute. The title of that clip is so fucking criminal. Is the boss monster the protagonist? Very nice. Oh, not too long ago at work, actually, there was a group of folks who showed up and started playing like old school Yu-Gi-Oh, just at like one of our tables, and they allowed me to sit down and play a couple games with them. It was so good. Like, I haven't I haven't played like classic Yu-Gi-Oh in quite a long time, so it was a really cool experience to have that with folks. How are you feeling about Bad Baby? I have no concept of popular music. I listen to fucking drum and bass and like deep house mixes on YouTube that other people have already put together. I don't follow artists as much anymore. Like, I haven't even been keeping up with Deadmau5, like my #1 favorite artist. I am seeing Caravan Palace in April, though. That'll be really fun. God, I'm so excited for that show. And you just pronounce Deadmau5 5. Ha 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 ha. Yep. So obviously even old school Yu-Gi-Oh has things to rush things out, but old school Yu-Gi-Oh that's just for fun is satisfying. Yeah, 100%. You play a few cards, you hit your opponent's monster, and end your turn. Like themed old school Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like Chaos Goat or Flip Monsters or something like that, right? That's the fun shit. The slow, methodical, actually playing the game Yu-Gi-Oh is the fun Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. I mean, like, as long as you're playing on the same power level as your opponent with Goat, then it's really fun. Like, if you're both playing some sort of Chaos Goat list, then it's fun. But if you're playing, like, a Joey theme deck into a Chaos list, then it's not going to be very fun. Like, Breaker the Magical Warrior is one of the coolest, like, trading cards I can possibly think of. Mechanically, it's fucking neat. Thematically, it's fucking neat. And, like, game design-wise, it's, like, is perfect. It's so good. Like, no monster at his sack. Yeah, I feel that. When it's on-themed, it feels better. When it's just, like, you know, oppressive, then it's not fun. And yet again, I will iterate on stream here. Anytime, any place, Tyler. I'll fucking destroy you at Yu-Gi-Oh! Anytime, any place. No questions asked. I'll even do it on stream. I would love to do it on stream. Yeah, because it was also, like, amidst Duel Links, too, right? And people were already just, like, doing Duel Links shit. And when they heard speed duels, they were like, oh, you mean, like, Duel Links in real life? Nah, I'm good. Alright, I think my laundry is done, so I'm gonna handle that really quick here. Ah! I am gonna heat up a little bit of food though. I'm kind of hungry. Was physical Duel Links? Yeah. Having to reuse decks and characters. Some made sense with Yugi and Joey. Esperoba, what the fuck? Yeah, I feel like the execution could have been way better for sure. I was also super far out of Yu-Gi-Oh! At that point, anyway. So I wasn't really in the target demographic anymore, regardless. What are you eating, dick? Ha 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 ha! No. I am eating mac and cheese. Just a little bit of leftovers. I got peckish, so I'm eating. It just has an empty chair. What a cool and engaging idea. I'll add it to the list. No, honestly, I kind of want to talk about something sexy. But I don't know what to talk about. I like, whenever I get in the mood to talk about sexy shit, I like having other people lead the conversation so that I don't push a boundary, you know? I don't get the point of just sleeping streams. I don't really either, but like, I mean, if it works, right? To be honest, do you class anything below 4 inches as a high heel? I guess I don't, but also, like, heels as a concept are just kind of like heels, right? I like heels in general. Short heels, tall heels. Like the really tall ballet boot type shit. Yeah, I'm into it, but practically speaking, heels are also still very hot. Now my laundry is on. I'll grab that in a second here. I'm not good at testing the boundaries because ballet boot? Oh, I'm about to teach you. Pretty sure I can show that on stream. Can I see the fucking image, please? There we go. They are ballet boots. Ah, I fucking... Hold on, I'm just gonna turn my camera off here for a second. Alright. They're heels that are like ballet-toed, but also boots. Is very neat, very cool, very great, very good, very hot, very cool. Those are so fucking ugly. You're just wrong. I don't know what the fuck to tell you, but you're just wrong. Okay, no, that's unbelievable. Are you for real right now? Those are ugly? What the fuck are you talking about? They look sleek as shit. You're just wrong. You're just wrong. Like, I can't wrap my brain around not seeing these as like at least mildly attractive, or that you get it, right? I'm not taking some advice from someone in pajama pants right now. I'm doing my laundry! The fuck do you want from me? Also, kinky fashion is fucking great. She needs clothes for Twitch. I really do. I want to get like lingerie and shit. Fuck it. Nah. I would wear more risque stuff on stream. I like doing so. Now, as a high heel pervert connoisseur, it depends on the type of ballet boots you're speaking of. Now, the ones you just shown are classified as bedroom ballet heels. Actual walking design ballet boots have different construction and look. Correct. Correct and agreed. I mean, just like, kink boots in general are typically pretty fucking hot. And like, good aesthetically. Alright, snack had. Full queer. 7 hours of wrestling? Sheesh. Yeah, I would love to go to Folsom Street Fair someday. Sounds like a really fun time. Because, like, I see pictures and read stories about it every year. It's like, whoa. You just do that? That's crazy. Mostly worried about how hot the wrestling ring would be. Yeah, as long as it's outside, right? In the hot sun, you want to make sure you're staying hydrated and shit. Doing more events like that is definitely something on my radar. But, you know, that comes with the territory of, like, going to an event like that. It's the most sexual pride parade that happens the week before Labor Day. That's kind of neat. There are events local to me that I'm going to as well. I don't know if I want to talk about them, though. Definitely not the one that's coming up, but one I went to recently was really, really cool. And I suppose it's technically a public event? Technically? But they had this whole building, like this... It was a building that has like a bunch of historical relevance to it, but they converted it into like a runway or a catwalk. And did like drag performances and fashion shows, but it was all like latex based. It was fucking sick as hell. And like seeing that kind of stuff celebrated, at least on a semi-public level, made me really happy. If you like ballet boots, it usually means you start to look at the others like pony boots and wedge boots. Yeah. Basically, you hang out with queer folk, expect yourself and off to go to queer bar and queer businesses that week. That tracks, yeah. You know, securing safety and, like, anonymity. How do I put this? Like, I'm open and proud about who I am and what I do. And I totally get that if you're not comfortable in doing that for yourself, then obviously don't. But like, I encourage you to like branch out and like, you know, healthily speak, like in a healthy way, kind of like dip your toes into the more out there shit, even if you're like slightly curious about it, right? I have met nothing but good people in the space. Well, mostly good people in the space. And as long as you like find your niche in those groups and like have actual discussions and thought processes about it, it's less like we're all getting our rocks off together and more of like an active discussion about how cool everything is. You know, other pups pulling carriages, people on leashes, Shibari, not like the bondage expression that Folsom does, and there are topless but like normal sex stuff to be indoors. Yeah, it's kind of neat. Listen, what I can do for you in this instance, Evo, is I can do gentle nudges and suggestions, and we'll see what happens. I am in that position, and I feel comfortable doing that. Granted, like, you gotta be very selective and, like, smart and mindful about public shit, if you will. Because, like, you need to make sure that consent and law is being followed, lack of a better term. Because, like, that was something that made me kind of antsy about, how do I put this? Yeah. Like, I was very proud about this. I walked in my Pride Parade this year in Minneapolis on the leather flag, right? And I had to push over a fear of perception from people who didn't necessarily, like, understand what was happening, I guess. They tied you to the leather flag, dang strong pull. No. It's a delicate balance for sure. Like, there's definitely spaces to be out and proud and engage in that kind of content, and definitely places that are not and, like, aren't mindful about that. If you understand what I'm saying? Like, a place that is mindful about what they're doing in a quote-unquote public sense will be like an 18-plus event. Events that are all ages that also have that stuff in it is not in your best interest under any circumstance, at least in my opinion. Like, it's so delicate because, like, there are very loud folks on separate ends of the spectrum that I know that I wouldn't say rules more expectation for learning this. Yeah, you mentioned that before. Then jumping noses and suggesting buffs and believing about it, but yeah. It's a game as sexual orientation because they protected folk from the cops, and the whole point of early Pride was not having to hide and be yourself. Yeah, right? Like, there's history with it and everything, right? And, it's... like, it's nothing to be ashamed of. But, like, you don't... like, my goal is to not make people uncomfortable. It's to educate and be mindful about how I explain what I do, right? And in that's gonna ruffle some feathers, obviously, but, like, it's hard to differentiate myself from just, you know, the gooners, if you will. It takes a lot of effort. Because, like, yeah, I enjoy getting fucking hot and heavy with it, too, but That's not necessarily always my goal. My goal is to be educational. And education can be fun, but that's not the be-all, end-all. And again, as long as you're being, like, mindful and smart about everything, then I don't think there's an issue. Yeah, it's definitely, like, the topic of all time, right? Like, oh, no kink at Pride. And it's like, shut up. It's so... I need to do a lot more research on it and learn more, I would say. Because most of what I've been going off of is, like, vibes. Which is not great, but, you know, I think kink is a very important and essential part of not just queer history, but history in general. And again, we can do amazing, cool, unique shit through the lens of kink, but we should do so safely and with, like, intent and mindfulness. And the only way to do that is to be out and proud about what we do, right? So that when, you know, something more dangerous or not cool comes up, the rest of the community can hold that person accountable and be like, hey, that's not what we do here. Fuck you. Right? Yeah, 100%. And, like, you know, counterculture isn't supposed to make you feel comfortable necessarily. It's supposed to challenge your worldview. And, like, it's just how some people's brains are fucking wired. Like, mine, for fucking instance. Like... How do I want to talk about this without completely breaking down on stream? For a really long time, Jeffrey Marsh? Who the fuck is Jeffrey Marsh? Oh my god, please, Twitch, let me copy this name. I don't know about this person. So I will look into this. Thank you for the heads up. I'll take a look. But what I was gonna say was that how I view how I am as a person, through the lens of kink and BDSM or whatever, is something I viewed for a really long time as an affliction, or something that I wish I could separate from myself and not have to ever deal with ever again. And for, again, that extended duration of time, it felt so burdensome and like something that I wanted to rip out and, again, just never deal with again. But after rejoining the community, talking to people, and finding my place in a dynamic, like, I realize how fucking foolish it is to want to remove something that brings me so much joy and makes me feel like a complete individual, right? And if that feeling and that place in a dynamic makes other people uncomfortable, rather than reveling in that or kind of being in defiance of that, I want to at least make it easy to understand, or easier to understand, through explanations and articulations of what exactly it makes me feel, what exactly I am feeling, and what exactly I can feel through the lens of this, right? And finding the line between being open and honest but not pushing a boundary is difficult, but I think I do it well enough. Yeah, I agree, Lee. That's cool. Because, like, how do I put this? Yeah, I agree with that. Like, kink and sex is not therapy, but it is therapeutic. And you can work through some things through the lens of kink that, like I've worked through some things through the lens of kink that would be very difficult to without that lens. And again, as long as you're doing it mindfully and with intent and good fundamentals, then, like, there's nothing wrong with that. And again, that's why I'm open and honest about what I do, what I'm into, and what I continue to do, is because if other people feel like me or want to experience the things that I experience, I want them to have the framework and mindset that works, or that, that is, like, safe, I guess. I don't know how else to put that. And, like, yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Lee. And, like, it's such a niche, though, right? Wanting to talk about this shit and not necessarily connecting right away with people is a little frustrating, to be quite honest. But, like, I'm gonna keep doing it because it makes me feel good. And I honestly feel like the more knowledge, the better. And anecdotal experience can go a long way. Fun energy stream getting well? No, the stream is still pretty fun. Like, how do I put this? Like, talking about sex and kink can still be fun. Like, I love when it's fun, right? Like, I don't have permission to talk about that explicitly, but I like when things get silly, too. Yeah, that's the other problem, is that I don't necessarily have direct consent to talk about some of the shit that I've seen, so that makes this difficult to talk about, but I've seen some people do some goofy fucking shit, and it's hilarious. You have no idea how many folks' executive dysfunction gets fixed when they have someone telling them what to do? Yeah. For real. And, like, when when mutual consent is achieved, it's a very powerful form of trust that allows you to reconceptualize what you're both doing. For example, when I get orders sometimes, it makes me really giddy because I trust that that order is given within the framework that I have set up within the dynamic already, right? So it might be a new order for a thing that I haven't done before, but when it's given, it's within the framework and context of things that we've already done and built up. And that can only exist through mutual consent and deep intellectual talks about what we're fucking doing. He's doing a blank. What's the term for guided instructions? Order. Like, I get orders all the time. Well, yeah, all the time. I get orders all the time, and I love them. They're great. They're not always fun, but they're good. And it takes a lot of weight off of the guessing game, too. You don't have to, like, sit there and be like, oh, do they like that? Do they like this? Do they want me to do this? Do they want me to do that? No, it's just an order that has been given, so you just do it. Cat treat? Let me grab it. Take a treat. Thank you, Evo. No, the video term where it's solo someone giving you orders? Instruction? Like, there's JOI, but I don't know if that's what you're talking about. All right, I grabbed 5 little Swedish fish. That seems like a pretty good cat treat, right? Thank you, Evo. It's all about play, too. Like, it doesn't have to always be serious. Like I was saying earlier, I've seen some goofy shit happen. But it's still through that lens, and that's super fucking cool. Just allowing yourself to fucking have fun through whatever context you do is really nice. And can be propagated by a community that holds itself accountable, right? You can't imagine how I'm feeling. I can't admit it to myself. So where would I even begin? You can't admit you to understand. You can't admit you to understand. I get what you're saying, but I don't know what the words are for that. And I've heard what you're talking about, but I don't partake, so I don't have the nomenclature. And it's like, how do you... The inherent challenge with kink and getting it more how do I put this? Not quote unquote publicly accepted, but like to open the conversation to begin with, there's already a preconceived notion of what the conversation is going to be. And it's typically like horny posting or really just horny. But it doesn't have to be, right? It can be, and it can like stray into that. But it's like it's part of sexual education. And anytime someone hears sexual education, like, or at least in my mind, when it's brought up in the context of sexual education, people are just like, hush, hush, you know, evangelical, fucking abstinence only type shit about it. And that frustrates me. That really frustrates me. Because again, like, people have deep-seated desires and fantasies, and I want people to experience those and have fun with it. But, like, the only way to do that is to fucking talk about it and do it safely. Because otherwise people get fucking hurt, and that sucks. And I'm always interested to talk about, like, what people are into, what you want to accomplish, what's your goals, what's your drives in that realm. But, like, again, you can't just talk about that shit without, like, setting up boundaries and barriers. I've also seen it for basics like cleaning, even going to sleep. The sleep one is normally for littles, though, and it's basically ASMR, like being in bedtime story. That tracks, yeah. Some jiggling, you get all hot and sweaty. But that's like the porn brain version of it, right? Like, my thought process is like, you know, how do you achieve an aesthetic or an action or an emotional beat through mutual consent and frameworks that you built up to make yourself feel safe when doing so? Like, I'm a thrill seeker, baby. And the only way to, like, achieve those thrills without getting seriously hurt is to talk about them in depth and, you know, set up frameworks and contingency plans if things go wrong. For instance, I'm even talking about how it leads to people not being as safe. Exactly! Like, I want to be an educator in this kind of space. Because I feel like I have the experience and know-how to, like, you know, give people the tools to, you know, achieve these things that they thought were only fantasy. Gay family was him hating women. I mean, yeah, there's a whole thread about, like, misogynists and transphobes, like, just having repressed fetishes or anything like that. But I don't know, that seems reductive to what we're talking about right now. I definitely agree, and there is a world where we can talk about that. But I don't necessarily have the chops to talk about that specifically, you know? Like, another one that really bugs me is the fucking interracial, like, cuckold stuff. Like, that's really uncool. And that's a whole fucking can of worms that I don't really want to get into right now, but, like, it's just weird and gross. And part of being a community is seeing that shit, pointing it out and going, hey, that's not quite how I think we should be doing this. Because, like, intent matters, obviously, and theory about what you're doing matters. And yeah, I'm getting really into the minutia and into the weeds of it, but, like, that's what makes me feel safe and comfortable. Can we be less racist about it? Exactly, right? Like, why is race such a big factor in this? We can talk about it, but I'm also going to be blunt and honest with you that it's fucking weird. Trying to think of, like, what an ideal discussion would be like, where, like, I have the knowledge. I guess just like a beginner course or something, where someone comes in and they're just like, I like chains, ooh, and I can go like, cool, let's talk about the safety of that and how you can achieve these things safely and build frameworks so that you can continue doing it, right? Like, that's some of my favorite shit, is when someone who knows what I'm about and what I do has a legitimate curiosity and interest in what we're doing and wants to do it themselves. Hey, here, not here? Exactly that kind of shit, right? And, like, how to communicate to another human being that you like doing what you do. and finding other people that are into what you're into, and finding a network and finding community, and how to grow your community, how to tell when a community member has a good interest, or like has your best interest in mind, and when they don't, and how moderators are people too, and you can't hold them in too high of a regard, and this, that, or the other. I can tell people things about belts. That's pretty neat. King 101 with Professor Kitten. Literally, though. Thinner stings more, wide has a better sound and visual. Yes. How do I put this? Yes. No, you're just correct. Yeah, thinner stings a lot. Material also is a huge factor. Like, synthetics and naturals are different in how they feel and what marks they leave and everything. And now that the stream is tagged as sexual content, I don't feel like I'm gonna get banned. Because, like, there are a couple fundamental styles of pain and, like, implements we're in. Sorry, we're gonna get a little graphic here. There's thuddy, stingy, and I guess I would call it, like, torsion, if you will. So, like, torsion would be like a rug burn that you do to someone, like when you twist their skin. That's not a fun, well, it's usually not very fun. And I guess biting is its own category as well, because it's not quite the same as the other two. But, like, you can have a preference in one or the other and chase, you know, one style of impact over another. But again, you have to have the communication and the framework in order to start even talking about it. Holes drilled for less air resistance and such? Yeah. And aesthetic. Yeah, of course. And always, like, warm-up is always, like, a good idea. Like, don't just go fucking straight from cold unless, you know, you're in trouble. But again, the only way you determine that you're in trouble is if you set up a framework to where you feel comfortable being in trouble. Which starts with a fucking negotiation with whoever you're handing the implements to, right? The issue I have is me being straight with a very big ish. Male might have terrible interacting with said women that I enjoy any sort of. I'm thinking, Evo, just give me a second. I think freeing yourself of... No, how do I put this? It's a consistency and energy game in your aspect, I would say. So I'm doing a bit of assumption here because I don't know your exact situation, obviously, but you know, as long as you keep inserting yourself into the space, continue to do these things that are correct, as in, you know, show eloquence and information and safety and interest, you know, pair that nicely with, like, treating people like fucking humans, which I know you do. And it's a consistency and playing the long game thing. And that sucks to hear, and I'm sorry about that. But also, you know, if you find joy in it, then eventually someone's going to see that you enjoy that and find joy in that and want to share it with you, right? And I don't know how your local community is or how wide the groups are that are available to you, but I think, again, just being there and being a part of it and showing that you can walk the walk, so to speak, does a lot more than just talking the talk. And it's gonna be a little awkward and a little fucking stressful for sure, but maybe step outside your comfort zone every so often and, like, you know, float an idea and get comfortable with being rejected, or get comfortable with understanding that, you know, not this time, but maybe another time, right? It's the consistency, it's the persistence, it's the show of good faith. It will work. It just, you know, takes time. And if there are more specifics that I'm not privy to that, like, I'm speaking out of my ass for, then let me know, but... Plus, yeah, if you're showing them bigger wide bones. Oh yeah, wooden canes hurt like fucking shit. Bendy straws? Oh, right, for hydration, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's smart. That's another thing. People who you see as... No, I need to rephrase this. Projecting... No, that's not the right word either. I want to put this. Because they naturally see me as somebody... That's the words that I'm trying to focus on, is because they naturally see me as some sort of predatory cockwomble. Naturally see me. Like... There are not prejudices, but there are, like, I'm thinking, hold on. The people who write you off as nothing more than just predatory without even knowing you off the bat, or like getting your vibe at the very least, aren't people you want to associate with anyway, right? Like if I walk into a room and like the mood changes just because I'm trans or whatever the fuck, I don't want to be in that room, right? So if you walk into a room and a bunch of people sneer at you just because you're a large, straight white man or whatever, tall, not large, then you don't really want to be in that space anyway, right? And I understand, like, there are limited spaces and whatnot, especially in different parts of the world, but a community exists for you. You just have to find it, right? And that sucks, and it takes a long time, but I believe in you. Hi, Omnic. Yeah, 100%. Lee's got it right? Like, don't just drop right off the bat unless you're in a conversation that's already happening, right? Like, if you're at a munch or at some sort of gathering and the conversation is about something kinky or sexy, then join the conversation with, like, a normal person and just be like, yeah, I want to have that too. But, like, oh, I find this interesting and I'm attracted to this because of that. And, like, have, like, a normal conversation about it, which I'm aware and probably sure that you already do. But it's just reinforcing that, right? And the consistency therein. Yeah, oh, I wanted to try that. Has anyone in this group tried that? I'd love to hear about it, this, that, or the other. And then once you develop a little bit more rapport with people and start to learn people in your community, they might not be interested in you, but people who you associate with and those people who associate with other people might be, right? It's about building a network and finding people in your community. Are we talking about sexual things I just got here? Yeah, we're talking about finding your community through kink and sex, and making sure your connections are genuine and finding folk that share your common interests. And also educational type shit, right? If you have experience, I've done that before, it's great because then maybe someone wants to try it with you. Yeah, 100%. And like you said, you have the framework and the mentality and the safety measures like up in your brain. And the more you talk about that, the more comfortable people are going to feel around you. I decided I'm content with being alone. Good for you, Omnic. That's the first step, honestly. Because, like, I also had that at some point, right? Where I was like, you know what? I'm okay just being by myself. You have to learn to love yourself and learn to enjoy being alone before you seek out companionship in, like, a relationship sense. Now she's a part of a family as their cat. Out of your comfort zone anxiety. The group I'm getting to know only too soon sober, so finding folks who don't mind showing you the ropes and are willing to help you learn without making you uncomfortable. Everyone's stereotype and clarification that are attack your interest. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and definitely I also do not mix kink and substances at all. There are realms and scenes and or fantasies that do involve them, but I'm never going to act on them because it's just not safe. And keeping that in mind while pursuing through my community and everything, right? And there are definitely avenues to go through if you want to add substance to your activities, but again, it's all about mutually aware risk profiles and contingency plans if things go fucking wrong. But, you know, apropos of those things, like, those things just don't happen if you don't even add the element, right? Yeah, it's a lot of trust. It's about a lot of trust. And trust does not come instantly. Trust does not come instantly whatsoever. And it shouldn't. Like, trusting people easily and quickly is not a good thing to do. That's a really good way to get hurt. One step at a time, absolutely. Finding folks who don't mind showing you the ropes and are willing to help you learn without making you uncomfortable about your lack of experience. And especially in BDSM. And, like, on Alka-Seltzer's point, too, like, calling out people who make you feel stupid is not easy, especially if you're starting to join a group, right? Like, if someone says, like, oh, you want to do that? That's not correct. That's wrong, blah, 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 and, like, doesn't at least meet you halfway in what you're trying to, like, learn or accomplish, those people suck, too, and you shouldn't associate with them. I say for wearing a boot for who knows how long. I'm so sorry. Like, I hope you get well soon, gamer. I'm sorry that you're relegated to a bed right now. Yeah, and, like, being able to see when someone is trying to take advantage of an individual or a community and pointing that shit out and talking to people who can help mitigate that is important and not an easy skill to gain either. Because the 6 made me really depressed, by the way. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking about medical boot. I was confused. Oh yeah, sorry. Should have clarified. Yeah, the Yakuza series is something that I would be interested in playing, but I don't really have the means to do so right now. Another thing that I want to talk about too. Your career. What do you work as? I work. You know what? Yeah, I work at a gaming store. So I do things with card games, board games, and video games on a local level. That's what I do. She's a gaming store's mascot? Haha. You're not even that far off, to be honest. GameStop employee? If that's what you want to think of it as, then yeah, that's pretty close. I was gonna say something on what we were talking about earlier. Oh, another thing that I was talking to someone who has a very prevalent space in the community on a semi-national level, if you will. Like, they're known across, the wider internet, but they're not like mega superstars or anything, right? And I had coffee with them once where we just had like a back and forth about like online content creation and kink and community and this, that, or the other, right? And something they had said to me was that like everyone's just kind of a guy, right? And no one is like truly an expert in this field that should be held in such revered positions that like what they say can't be challenged, or the way they do things is the only way to do things. She's specifically talking about rope and how like a lot of the quote unquote masters would be like, no, you can't do it that way. You have to do it this way. And it feels really stifling in terms of a creative outlet. And through her experience in working with some of these quote-unquote masters, she was just like, oh, you're just a guy, right? And taking away this, like, status or perceived status, and boiling it down to just like, yeah, we're all just humans trying to do shit, right? And stepping outside of any social hierarchy. How do I put this? To still gain knowledge from people, but not hold their word as something that is infallible, if you will. Depending on releases. Honestly, I could. Again, communication, talk with each other. Goal is to make everyone happy. 110%. Tell Tori I said hi. I haven't talked to Tori in weeks. I will, though. Bye. Goal is to make everyone happy, and the goal is to explore within your own limits. Because, like, physically speaking, I enjoy pushing myself to places that are challenging and uncommon, because I have tenacity and this drive of like, yeah, I can handle that. And I want to like prove that I can, not necessarily as like a status symbol or anything, but like for my own personal gains of like, how far can I go? How much can I handle? How can I experience these things, and how far can I push the envelope while also still being safe and like smart about everything? Summer Shush, I need to do it. Yeah, that also depends on level of skill, I would say. Because like if you've, but no, because every body is different too, right? So like getting direct feedback from the person you're working on is kind of paramount. And well, it takes a lot of time, effort, practice, repetitive motion, and repetitive action to truly learn someone like that on like a physical level. But even then, I feel like having a line of communication to edit or change things that need to in the moment is not something that should be dismissed. And also topping from the bottom is a thing too, right? Like I've had this come up a couple of times in scenes and or dynamic that I've been a part of, where suggesting or offering certain things mid-scene or outside of the dynamic. No, not outside the dynamic, but like when I propose an idea or a scene or a beat list that I want to accomplish, right? Really what I'm doing is I'm handing, and this analogy has been used several times in my life, but really what you're doing as the bottom is handing the top a outline, and then they get to color within that outline, but they don't get to cross the lines because you drew those lines for them to color within, right? And a issue would occur if that top decides to color outside the lines, and it's on the bottom to understand, hey, you colored outside my lines, we need to fucking talk about that. Or, you know, call a scene mid-scene if that starts to happen. But also, I think that if the bottom micromanages how the top is coloring that picture, that is also an issue that needs to be talked about. Yeah, rope definitely has a lot more tradition and reverence to it, I would say. There's a lot more protocol, I would say, in terms of, like, really heavy rope. Because there's a lot of safety that needs to be adhered to. So there are some ways where, like, yes, you need to tie someone this way because otherwise you're going to fucking hurt them. But there's also aesthetic choices outside of that that people also feel have to be adhered to, which I don't agree with. I will have an idea, but if you know or want to try things, tell me and give me feedback. Only when doing things is fancy. So that's out of scene? Yeah. Second guessing all of my art doodles now? You're fine. You're probably fine. I think there's a lot of pressure put on tops to make sure that they don't cause any harm or damage. But I also think there needs to be a little bit more put on bottoms to be comfortable with things extending past what they thought would happen or think things would feel like, right? So a great example is like, how do I put this? I want to be very articulate with this. Part of what makes me feel like I have a good amount of skill in the scene is if something makes me uncomfortable or I feel like safety is becoming something a little bit more... No, hold on. I want to be very clear about this. Part of a skill you need to develop as a bottom, too, is also allowing people to have grace. And if a fuck-up happens, not holding people to an absolute fucked up rigid standard, because we're all humans and we all make mistakes, right? So, like, great example. I have a very, very great example. I was at a party once where an impact happened that I wasn't expecting, was ready for, and also was very unsafe for what we were doing. But it was an accident, right? And immediately, you know, the scene got torn down and we moved into aftercare or whatever. But I didn't hold that person to an impossible standard of like, you fucked up, you're a horrible top, this, that, or the other, because of one mistake, right? And I also needed to be comfortable with that, like, hey, yeah, that kind of sucked, but also you're fine. And obviously this changes if the safety becomes much, much more of a concern and something more drastic did happen. But setting up your own personal like mental level of like what is catastrophic and what is a little bit less than catastrophic is important for you to play safely and responsibly with other people as well. Yeah, of course. Got a feeling I know what happened. Potentially. I may have been clear enough. I call it miss the target and hit the sand. Yeah, in a way, yeah. And again, that's on community too, to like hold up the ability to give people grace and don't expect perfection from everybody, because that doesn't help anything. Because it's lower and causes things to collapse a little bit, yeah. You're getting what I'm picking up. You're picking up what I'm putting down. So yeah, we got that. But again, like, I also am comfortable pushing that envelope, right? Because I know my own risk profile. I know steps and safety nets that I have in place for if something does go terribly wrong. Now, how do I want to put this? And your risk profile might be substantially less than mine, but you need to fucking communicate that first and foremost, and then also still give grace to people, right? And it can feel very daunting to, you know, not necessarily change or like move the goalposts, if you catch my analogy, but like you need to find a connection and a trust where both parties understand that this is an evolving and moving thing. And that can also be seen through pickup play and like just meeting random people in the community. And the only way to experience more intense stuff is to build more intense trust. So don't rush into things. That's irresponsible. Probably. That gray area of establishing what boundaries can be pushed, like a soft limit. I think it's also important for a sub not to push past their own limits without calling for a break or using a safe word. Agreed. There's an amount of trust placed in knowing stoppage will happen before things go too far. 100%. Yes. 100%. It is a gray area. There's no black and white understanding of, like, what is, like, your own limits are a gray area. Like, you don't have a certain point where you're, like, not necessarily, like, a... Fuck, my brain's getting a little scrambled. It's getting kind of late. But yeah, I completely agree, Stelzer. That trust only is built, though. It's not something that's innate in a dynamic or a pickup scene. It's something that you have to build, and it's slow and arduous, but the only way to do it safely and correctly is by doing so, right? Well, off topic, but can you fall in love with someone but still be in love with them just in a different way due to how they changed but not in a bad way, they've pivoted and adjusted to a different role? 100%. Yeah, why not, right? Like, I think it warrants a discussion about that feeling, right? Like, yeah, there's definitely been times where, like, I've been in love with someone. It hasn't happened a ton, but where I've kind of fallen out of that, or circumstances were put in place where I've removed myself from that, or the relationship kind of deteriorated or whatever. But I still love that person, like, as an individual. I'm just not, like, in love with them. Those are two very separate things, but they can, like, be mutually exclusive or whatever, right? So, like, if you fall out of love with someone, but you still want them in your life, you can explain that to them, be like, hey, I still love you, but not in, like, a I'm madly in love with you kind of way, but I still very much care about you. And, like, as long as you explain that shit, then I think everyone should be fine with that. And if they're not, then obviously that warrants another discussion. Don't put ice cubes in you, it will shock your system. It's not just fun Coldplay, it's different. Yeah. Seems probably it's easier for me because, like, you can still love someone while them not being your everything. Yeah, 100%. And, like, again, different level of love, right? Because, like, being in love with someone is, you know, when you are in love with someone, or at least a lot of people do. And loving someone is completely different. Like, I love Josh and Haley. I'm not in love with them, right? Another example is I had someone who I would consider, you know, I was in love with them. I sucked at saying it at the time, and it's taken a long time to admit that. And it's something that I regret, but they still very much mean a lot to me, and our relationship has changed because of that, but we still have a relationship where I would be comfortable saying that I love them, right? But again, it's through the context of loving them as an individual and someone I care about deeply, and not being in love with them, like on a romantic level. Pee-pee butt squeeze. Thank you for all the redeems, Sam. Appreciate ya. Ah! Hi, ma'am. Welcome. We're talking about sexy stuff. And kink and community and such. It's neat. Where's the sign up? I don't have like a specific place for it just yet. But I have definitely tagged the stream as sexual content now because that's what I want to do. And we took the first step. Hi Genji, welcome. Sounds like a nice discussion. It has been, or at least I would hope that it has been. Do y'all feel like I've been doing a good job with this discussion and not just talking out of my ass? Clearly the sexy stuff is on Blue Sky. I've been hearing a lot of things about this Blue Sky. Ari and I are watching on the iPad playing with the redeems. Cute. That's really cute, actually. Boom. I think you do well. Thank you. With how, volatile, that's the word. With how volatile this conversation topic can be, I like to do my best to keep it as level-headed as possible, right? So that it's approachable. Because if I just start, like, screaming about things that make me frustrated, no one's gonna want to fucking participate.
Dis-moi que tu m'aimes. Dis-moi juste que tu m'aimes, parce que moi, je ne serais jamais tenir la première, j'aurais trop peur que tu crois que c'est un jeu.
Like a breath of fresh air? Oh, that's very kind of you to say, thank you. We are 8 months today, what the fuck? Congratulations. Holy shit. Holy shit, that's insane. I know! How has it been? Complete pivot from what we're talking about, but like, how has it all been? If you don't mind me asking and getting a little personal. But like, how has the journey been? There's like no one else in my life who's going through this right now. At least like around my age. So I'm more so curious than anything. Heartburn. Okay. That's so cool. I'm so happy for the both of you. God, you're gonna be such good parents. Ah, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Feel free to keep us updated as much as you feel comfortable doing so on like a public setting or whatever, but me personally too, I'm very invested in this, and like, oh, it's so fucking cool. That's so fucking sick, dude. Congratulations to the both of you again. Like, that's so fucking cool. And like, I'm gonna just iterate that over and over and over again, and I hope that me doing so is not diminishing each time I say it, but amplifying. Because, like, that's how my brain works, is, like, when I repeat things over and over and over again, that means I'm amplifying how much I'm, like, how enthusiastic I am about it, and not diminishing as in, like, oh, cool, 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 cool. I'm just saying it over and over again, right? No, absolutely. Like, conversations come and go, right? Like, yeah, we were talking about sex and kink, but you bringing up your own personal journey is so fucking sick and cool. And I'm so honored that we get to even fucking mention it here, right? It's cumulative for sure, 100%. Like I said, I think I said this a couple streams ago, but like, a skill that I have inadvertently developed while being like a live streamer is being able to pivot and also have like 4 conversations at once. And feel like I'm actually competent at doing so, right? So like if Lee dropped back in here and says something along the lines of the kink stuff that we were talking about, I'd be able to pivot completely and like keep up the mentality and energy, right? I gotta go to the bathroom really quick. I'll be right back. Share. I'm still here, just no idea what to add. Just no idea what to add. That's fair. It happens. We are getting towards the end of stream here, so the conversational well is being has probably gotten a bit dry. I get that. Something that really fucking gets my goat. I thought about this just now. There are things. Hold on. I have to articulate again. That's part of another reason that I really enjoy streaming and just like talking to people in general is figuring out the delivery method for a thought into words. That process is very, very enjoyable to me because when understanding is had between me and the person I'm talking to, that feels like a success at a puzzle, if you will. But regardless, what I was gonna say was something. Should I start streaming? Yes or no? Yes. Something that really gets my goat is there are folks out there who have interests or activities that they want to do but have completely incorrect mindsets on how to accomplish those and or the ramifications of doing what they want to do, right? And a lot of these things that they're fantasizing or envisioning can be done if you do it correctly, safely, and consensually. But without that framework, then they're just pieces of shit, right? And something I want to do is give people the tools and pathways to experience what they want to experience, but correctly and not as a piece of shit. And I keep reiterating that because it helps me formulate a way to achieve that myself. And if I keep talking about it in that way, maybe then it will that kind of situation will gravitate towards me, and or I can find an easier way to insert myself into spaces where that is warranted, if you will. This is just an excuse to see how kinky your viewers are. I mean, it's not... It's not... Evo, please put that in the NSFW one. I'm gonna delete that, sorry. It's very funny, but you gotta put it in the right channel, bud. What was I gonna fucking say? No, okay. I would like to know how kinky the people around me are. But again, that's a boundary thing, right? Like, I'm not just gonna get up all in your grill and be like, tell me everything you're into, because that's fucked up and weird. But if you come to me telling me that you want to talk about that kind of shit, then I am an open fucking book, baby. That's just a side effect? 100%. Beating women, what face? But she wants you to, thumbs up. Yeah. Exactly, but the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you talk to people and find people who are like-minded and, like, do it correctly. Tay wants to read your hypnoerotica. I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but I'm also going to be critical. Also, Evo, again, should I start streaming again? Yes or no? Yes, you should start streaming again. 100%. She'll put out the bad grammar. No, I'll point out interesting, like, meta-analysis of what you're writing, right? Because there was okay, so I read an incredible... Sorry, I have to look at this. Oh, my work is talking about Dan to Dan. I gotta catch up. there was a short story I read that was pornographic, that was about a mage and her familiar, and the ceremony, god damn it, and the ceremony that took place for that individual becoming their familiar. And it was like really kinky and hot and sexy and shit, right? And I loved the meta-analysis of what that kind of relationship means in like a narrative way, and how it can be applied to, you know, real life shit, and like where this kind of darker or interesting exploration into what's possible can also help us understand the real world, or if you will. With corrected grammar, you can analyze the story. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I like witches marking symbols on their familiar. I like that too. Mainly, like, this story that I was reading, I can't fucking remember the title of it up for the life of me. It's somewhere in a server that I'm in that I can dig up, but the whole idea was like there was this mage school, right? And the only way to get a familiar is by beating another mage in combat and forcing them to submit to you, right? And your power together is amplified when that dynamic is established, and it gets more powerful the more trust you have in each other within that dynamic. It's a very, very interesting. I thought it was super sick. And the idea that, like, on a meta level, that this pair, this dynamic, gets stronger the more trust and autonomy is exchanged, correlates directly to how strong a relationship can be in the real world when the same is observed, right? It's so fucking cool. Turning you into a cat because you didn't study. I think that, like, branches out just from, like, sexy stuff, too. I love when narratives and stories are allegories to, like, real-world shit. Makes me rock hard. I love how we tell stories. It's fucking cool and neat, and I like it a lot. And maybe someday, I'll tell my own stories, you know? I have plenty of them. It's just getting them out into a form that I feel comfortable sharing is the hard part, you know? They absolutely need you. Yeah, exactly, right? I also had a really cool sequence in my brain. All right, stick with me on this one. It's going to be hard to follow because it's just concepts right now, right? But there's a scene idea I have in my head where this mage and her familiar are like going through a castle or something, right? And the castle staff and the guards or whatever have been meticulously planning this ambush on them, and they know that when they're together, they're essentially invincible, right? So they have this plan to separate the two of them, and then once they're in separate spaces, do as much fucking damage as possible to the familiar first, so that the mage is stripped of all of her power and they can kill her, right? And I have this idea where they do separate them, they get put into separate rooms, and the familiar goes through fucking hell, right? And, like, gets fucking essentially, like, like mutilated, that's the word, until like an inch of their life, right? And then they focus their attention on the mage and they go like, well, you don't have your familiar now, you're gonna fucking die. And the mage is kind of shaky about it, like, ah, fuck, they got my familiar, but still holds out hope and like a trust that her familiar is fine. And when they go to like stab her or whatever, like a barrier pops up, right? And they're like, what the fuck? We literally covered your familiar in hot tar. How the fuck are you protected right now? And then like the camera pans, or like the panel shifts over to the hot tar pile or whatever, and all you see is like a skeleton hand holding out like a sigil or whatever of magic, and then like the familiar just like bones and flesh like coming out, just a being of pure rage and like protection for this individual. Ah, fuck, that's so cool. So you need to write essays on this so people can understand romance novels, but writing is hard. Writing is difficult. Cause like that's part of what makes me feel very special in my role. Is that like, yeah, I take a lot of damage, but I do it partially as a show of pride, if you will. Cause like, I want to show off, I mean, period, but also, I don't know, there's something really fulfilling and desirable in me and how I perceive life in the world, to where you endure something not just for the sake of someone else, but because you know you can do it for yourself. That shit goes crazy. That painted a great picture in my mind. Thank you, I appreciate that. I do fuck with that, Lee. I fuck with that heavy. I also just like really love the idea of like, this is kind of apropos of what we were just talking about, but like, I think it has something to do with being really into Pokemon from a very young age, but please stick with me on this. Being at the beck and call of someone I trust, and then having them release a restraint and like have me fucking go at it or whatever. Oh fuck, we've been listening to not stream safe music. Oopsie. Hee hoo hoo. Oh god, I hope that doesn't fuck up the VOD. Oh, that'd make me really sad. But anyway, like, how do I put this? It's so specific. It's a feeling. Hold on, I have to articulate this. I'm gonna articulate this and then I'm probably gonna wind the stream down, but the idea of being at the beck and call of someone who I trust to push my own limits and be submissive to within that mindset, going, all right, go. And like having me fucking go fucking crazy on someone else, or as a protection, or as a no holds barred something, fucking rules. I love that shit. There's something to be said about being a part of a tight team comp. Yes, 100%. She wants to be commanded and told so she doesn't have to hold back anymore. Yeah, that's kind of it, right? Like, I want to be told, or like through the lens of someone I trust, to analyze the situation or understand the gravity of what's happening, to go like, yeah, I trust that you're able to hand this if I release whatever restraint you have that I've put on you, right? Like the idea of like being off leash, if you will. Fucking rules. I like that a lot. It's hard to articulate where that would happen though, right? I feel like you'd like some Superman and Lois storylines? Probably. She wants to be a werewolf and then release the chains to say time for you two to have fun. In a way, yeah. Because there's a lot of cathartic release in just being able to do and act on instinct. That's it. It's the feeling of acting on instinct and getting permission to act on instinct that fucking rules. Because I'd be here to bring you back Smallville. And like, if that restraint or release of not feeling like you can act on instinct allows you to protect someone, narratively that goes so fucking crazy. As a pet name, basically to remind him of his roots. Yeah, that's fair. I'm just not huge into superheroes. It's not really my speed. Like, I'm imagining storylines now where, like, I'm just gonna use Mage and Familiar because that's what's on my brain, right? Of, like, you know, Mage and Familiar get into a fight or whatever, and Mage is, like, backed up against a corner, and Familiar knows this, and Familiar just, like, looks at the handler Mage and just is like, we have a solution for this, you just need to do it. And the Mage going like, you're right, go. Right? I fucking love that shit. Tay, maybe you need to play D&D again? Maybe. It'd be fun. I would love to do, like, tabletop roleplay type shit again. Can I go dark mode now? Fine, kill them. Yeah, that kind of shit. Or, like, you know, I mean, like, Mage, I can solve this solution, but I need to go crazy. And the Mage having to, like, weigh out the pros and cons of that and shit. Permission to thrill. 100%, baby. I say werewolf because I imagine that's very Tay-coded. Just, okay, go feral. I mean, yeah, a little bit. I do like the whole concept of feral stuff, but like that's a topic for another time. Oh, I got flustered. But yeah, I don't know. That always feels like a very emotional. Don't take this as the literal meaning of the word, but like an emotional climax in a story of when that kind of shit happens. And I love building up to that and, like, keeping it letting it have the gravity that it should have, right? She said it. Fuck! And look, werewolf just isn't just wolves. It's just the term. Yeah. And, like, I love the concept of, like a familiar going crazy, right? And causing untold devastation outside of their own ability to stop themselves. And then coming to, like, a decrescendo out of it, realizing what happened, and then breaking down and, like, apologizing a shit ton and being like, oh my god, I couldn't help it. I went on instinct. I'm sorry. And the, you know, Mage coming in and comforting them like, it's okay. I know you couldn't. But it's okay. We're gonna fix it, right? Edging towards that powerful release of emotions. 100%, baby. Ooh. Ooh, I like that, Lee. That's real neat. Ooh, I like that a lot, actually. Hell yeah. And, again, through this lens or whatever, the way that I'm describing this particular duo would not be comparable to another duo within the same world, right? They would have their own intricacies and protocol, lack of a better term, for how their mage familiar dynamic is. And exploring the differences and comparisons and contrasts with that is where the story can be. That can be a story, and that's cool! Misheard the lyrics of Angel with a Shotgun and was watching Devil May Cry. Nice. Alrighty. I'm going to give a 15-minute warning on stream, so if there's anything you want to talk about, bring it up now, and we'll talk about it. I haven't meowed a lot lately. I should do that more. I feel a romance story where the main romance died at the end doesn't seem smart. I mean, but it's your story to tell, right? Like, if that's how you want to end it, then end it that way. I feel like a lot of creative projects die because, oh, how will the audience interpret this? Or, like, the mentality of, like, disappointing the person reading or watching it, right? I feel like making things to just make things and also making them the way you want to make them is correct also. Also, modern storytellers are fucking cowards. Kill off your main characters. Fuck. Like, don't just go on a killing spree and kill all of your main characters, obviously. But it's so fucking annoying going into modern media nowadays and being like, oh, it's the main character. They've got plot armor. They're not gonna die. Switch it up. Cause that shock and awe. Elicit an emotional response. We love when we explain grievances of religion. It's just hard to keep on after the main character dies. Yes, but there are ways to mitigate that, for sure. And also, there are ways to structure your characters and emotional peaks to where if you want to walk that back, it doesn't feel like a slap in the face, right? Like, in my main story that I've been working on, like, mentally for a really long time, one of the main characters does die. But the way that that happens allows me to roll back a little bit on that and make the character come and spiritually reintroduce the character while still preserving the sanctity of them dying. That's how I'll put that. And using that as another vehicle of storytelling is fucking sick and cool. Last of Us Part 2, different factions, viewpoints, proper damn tragedy. 100%. I've never played Last of Us or Last of Us Part 2, but I've watched a couple video essays on everything. And yeah, Tyler will fucking blast me for that, but whatever, I don't give a shit. But the analysis of the story of The Last of Us is really fucking cool. I fuck with that heavy. I wish I had more snacks. I don't have any. Oh, neat. He's going to Emma Jesus who's trapped. Another cat treat? For moi? Thank you, Evo. Oh, I remember now. And she eats little fishies. I do eat little fishies. Evo, you asked earlier why you should get back into streaming? Because it's fun. And you can make your stream whatever you want it to.
Don't forget to stretch!
Fucking go for it, fam. Do it if you want to do it. Thank you again, Evo, for the cat treats. I'll get up and stretch here in a second. Yeah. God, I really hope the VOD doesn't get fucked up because of the other music we were playing. I feel like I talked enough over it where it probably won't get muted. Hopefully. Who's talking about a lot of cool stuff? I'd be really upset if we lost that because of that. Stretch extra because I can't, lol. You got it. Alright. I forgot my green screen was behind me. Alright. Stretch it. I still don't quite know how to stretch my legs properly. Like, I can do the up and down one like I'm doing right now, but... It just doesn't feel like I'm stretching anything. Oh, there we go. That. Come on, I've got good balance. I'm a cat. Let's do the arm stretches. Someone said we should allow it. Love is love. That question is why. Yeah, and like... I feel like the more minute you can get with topics like that, the better. Push your knee towards the ground while you hold that one. I think I do that. Oh god, yeah, I need to stretch way more often. Okay, that's good. I feel stretched, I feel limber. Alright. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. Tasty and was really soft. Whoa, chill. I've been told I have soft skin, but... thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight, everybody. We will not be back next week, unfortunately. Let me double check my calendar here so I'm not spewing lies and misinformation at you. Yep, I have a previous engagement next week, so maybe we'll stream on Wednesday as opposed to Thursday. I might be able to make that work. But I'll keep you informed in the Discord. I'm not getting engaged. I'll keep you informed in the Discord, and if you hit ! Discord, you can join that if you're not already a part of it, which I think most of you are. Follow me on all my socials if you haven't already. Keep up with me on that front. But yeah, thank you so much for talking to me tonight, everybody. We talked about a lot of cool stuff. Storytelling, kink and community, stream ideas. We attempted the Wordle. Yeah, good stream. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a good night. You sleep well when you do. Drink water. That is a threat. And get good sleep. Sleep is important. I wrote this on a whiteboard recently, but being prepared also includes getting enough rest so you have the energy when you need it. Keep that in mind. Anyway, I'm gonna sign off here. I hope you all have a good night. I'll talk to you later. 2 weeks from now. Maybe Wednesday next week. We'll see. I'ma head out. Bye!
How many worlds would you cross to use the light?